Hello everyone, this is Kaifu here with game 2 in the series between Henry and Daniel. We have Daniel on my right side playing Reflect Refrain, and also on my left side we have Henry playing Reflect Refrain. So this will be a Reflect Refrain mirror match. Yes, and I know you guys are tired and sick of seeing Reflect Refrain in the current top meta or top tables and so on, but think of it this way, this applies to any TCG game. Due to the fact that you want to do well in a competitive scene or competitive tournament, you have to expect that a lot of top tier decks or top tier cards will be played, or heavily played should I say. So Reflect Refrain is just a very versatile, flexible card to use, so there's no reason why you wouldn't use it and so on. But other than that, Reflect Refrain, a very versatile card which allows you to filter, goes a bit more aggressive, hit a bit harder in general and so on, which is very versatile, and the J activation cost is 0. So you don't have to worry about what color you'll be playing and so on. Even though she's a green ruler, you can splash it in red, you can splash it in any color, like in the situation at the moment. This is a Necromancy Reflect Refrain mirror match. So yeah, enough of me rambling, let's get back to the game itself. Currently, life point wise, 4,000 life point compared to 3,800. Getting that Moonshade turn 1 isn't really helpful because you're draining yourself in the early game, and later on it will accumulate in the long run, due to the fact that you are versing an aggressive deck in this current format, which will drain you quite a bit if you're not too careful. He does have a Rook on the field, which allows him to defend and search for any red resonator he needs from his deck. Susano, Lancelot, Guinevere, Rook can search for anything he needs to help him in any situation. Compared to Henry's Cheshire Cats on the field, and sorry for the glare guys, I can't help it, it's just a lighting issue and I can't really do anything about it with the light. But Cheshire Cat will allow him to defend against his opponent. However, looks like Daniel's be playing very defensive now, dropping 2 bows on the field, not allowing his opponent to drop a Lancelot and attack him directly. He was like, you know what, I'm on the draw at the moment, so you're on the play. I know you'll be playing very aggressive on your turn 2 play. I will drop these 2 bows on the field to make life a lot harder for you. It's not a Rebel Fire Rat, but it does help me to prevent you do any damage for a while. In this current meta at the moment, Regalia has been dropping in play, or majority of them anyway, especially Bow, because the fact that Hera is a thing. Hera usually what it does, it destroys a 0-drop Regalia and draws a card, so it giving your opponent a +2, so that's what is the risk of playing Regalias at the moment. However, you know what, he's like, you know what, I'm gonna take the risk, I'm already playing an aggressive deck, so if I slow my opponent down enough to the point that I can set on a play, that's fine. Speaking of Rebel Fire Rat, 2 Rebel Fire Rat is on the field, so this will be a very long video. So I hope you guys don't mind me commentating for I don't know how many hours, not hours, how many minutes and so on. It looks like it will be at least 20-minute plus by looks of it. Dropping Rebel Fire Rat from third place point, so no Lancelot will be doing damage for a while, or Lancelot in general, Kukula, Living Flame, Susano, and etc. Let's see now, back to Henry's turn. Henry does have 3 Magic Stone open, including a Moonshade. Now that Moonshade could be helpful or could be pretty terrible, due to the fact that you drain yourself 200 life each time you use it to produce any color outside of Moon. So let's see. Both players are playing very defensively now. I understand why Daniel is playing very defensively, because he is on the draw, so which he makes him I have to play very defensive. If not, then I'm going to be taking a lot of damage on the field. In comes the Guinevere, which will allow Henry to draw 2 cards and then discard 1. So let's see what can he do from here. Henry's thinking about his play at the moment. I do see Adam Brawl in his hand, so he does have the opportunity to incarnate if he really wants to, so which can do 400 damage to a Rook and draw a card from the Cheshire Cat. But it's a matter of fact, does he really want to do it? Life point wise, 4,000 life point compared to 3,800. Similar life point, nothing has changed, it's just a 200 difference, but however that 200 difference could be the difference between you winning or losing. Paying 200 life point by Henry, using the Moonshade, dropping a Lancelot on the battlefield. Lancelot can do a lot of damage on the field, but however, with 2 bows on the field and on top of that Rebel Fire Rat to slow down, Lancelot can't do anything at the moment. So which gives the opportunity for Daniel to slowly set up his power plays if he to slow the game down at this point, and then go for the big push later on in the later game. So let's see now. Life points are still the same, field-wise Cheshire, Guinevere, Lancelot, a River Fire Rat, compared to 2 bows, a River Fire Rat, and a Rook Egg, that's right. In comes another River Fire Rat. To make matters worse, a game will get even slower than before. In comes the Guinevere, which will allow him to sacrifice his Rook Egg to draw 2 new cards, or search first, to search from the Rook Egg and draw 2 new cards. So allow him to get his main red cards he needs, like Lancelot, Susano, or whatever he needs. So now at the moment, I believe Daniel does have a lot of defensive cards on the field, so meaning his hand could be very defensive in this current time. So meaning all his offensive cards should be in deck still with 2 bows, 2 River Fire Rat, meaning his opponent can't really do much against that. So even your opponent drop the second last slot, there's 2 River Fire Rat and a burn the field to take care of 2 of them pretty easily with no problem at all. I think what Henry needs now, it could be a Shadow Barrier. Shadow Barrier will automatically shut down those bows temporarily, because in order to use bow, your opponent has to pay 1 resource to activate its ability. With 2 bows on the field, if you want to use 2 bows, you have to pay 2 resources each time you activate it at all. So let's see what can Henry do in this situation. Light point wise, 3,800 compared to 3,800 light point. Tapping for another Magic Stone, 4 Magic Stone open play with, so he can go to a Pumpkin Witch combination power play, but however with those bows and Rob the Fire Rat can slow him down. He might as well, you know what, I'm going to set up my power plays, drop a lot of resin on the field, and by the time I'm ready, I'm going to attack you directly. Because in this current format, there's not a lot of nuking cards and fields, such as, I know there's like Dark Pulse, what's that called? Dark Pulse, Awakening of the End, and so on. There's a lot of those nuking cards in the field, but however they are very high cost. So by the time you're actually able to activate it, the game is already could be over, or you're already in a disadvantage. There's no point using it. Incarnating into Adam Brawley, putting Cheshire back and using the Rook Egg to search. Let's see what he could be searching for. That's the question. At the moment, Daniel's looking pretty fine because he is on the defensive play, searching for the Kukulu. Now this Kukulu has the ability to do a Camellia play. So what it does is that you can have one of the ability incarnate. So you pretty much sacrifice a red resonator or a black resonator, or one of these combination, right? By sacrificing it, you can incarnate and triggers enter ability instead of playing 4 resources, which is its 4 cost, 1 black, 1 red, and 2 colors. You will allow to incarnate those 2 instead and allow you to destroy a resonator on the field with no addition under it. So let's see now. Ping another Cheshire Cat on the field. Oh no, wait, not yet. Because Daniel is still deciding what to discard, because he did sacrifice a red resonator from Henry, so he is forced to, well, not forced, he can. He will be doing 400 damage directly to a resonator on the field. So why would you deal damage to a Rook Egg? I have no idea why, but you would might as well do damage to the Guinevere, because Guinevere allows you to draw cards, so you might as well get rid of that draw power, because that draw power will accumulate in the long run. Let's see what can he do. 2 Magic Stone open, so, well, actually 3 Magic Stone open for Henry because he hasn't put his Cheshire Cat down yet. Let's see. Daniel's thinking very what he can discard, because he won't be playing very defensively, but at the same time not too defensively. He needs some offensive card at the same time, because if we're out offensive card, what can you do? It's not like you're playing control with like cancel spell and so on. You need some way to do a lot of damage. So he's thinking what to discard. He can be like, should I discard my defensive spell card or defensive cards in my hand? If I do, I could be in trouble, but then again, I have a lot of defensive cards in the field, 2 robes and 2 bows, so that could be enough, maybe, perhaps. So it depends what he wants to discard. If I were if I was Daniel, I already see a total of 4 defensive cards on my field. I will discard another defensive card. Instead, he's discarding the Kukulu Living Flame. In comes the Cheshire Cat, which allows him to draw 2 new cards and put 1 back on the top of the deck. So let's see what he's putting back. Oh, I didn't see what he put back, was something at least. Paying 1 red. Looks like he's dropping a Kukulu. No, he's dropping not Kukulu, he's dropping a Rook Egg, which will allow him for the defensive play. Not only that, he does have a Guinevere on the field, which will allow him to sack it, to draw search for his deck and then draw 2 cards and discard 1. Back to Daniel's turn now. Let's see what he can do in this current situation. Field-wise, Guinevere, Adam Brawley, Cheshcat, Lancelot, Rookegg, River Fire Rat, compared to 2 River Fire Rat, 2 bows, a Rookegg, and a Cheshire Cat. Cheshire Cat, which is coming to play at the moment, which allows Daniel to draw 2 new cards and put 1 back on top of the deck. So what does he want to do in this situation? He does have a free resource to play with. So what is good at the moment? What could be nice at the moment? Flame King Shout will be able to do 400 AoE damage directly to Henry's field, which could be very nice at the moment. But however, in comes the Incarnation, Adam Brawler play, Cheshire Cat goes back to the deck, and in comes the Search Power from the Rookegg. Searching for another Rookegg to get the flow going still. You know what, I'm gonna keep flowing my deck and so on, spinning my deck out. I'll search more for my DPS card later, while I'll slow you down with Adam Brawley and my 4 defensive card in play. So let's see now. Doing 400 damage directly to, I believe he's targeting Guinevere, and obviously then using Cheshcat to draw. So let's see what can Henry do now. I'm pretty sure Henry will sacrifice the Guinevere because it looks like it will be targeting Guinevere on the field. Because 400 damage can't even kill Lancelot or Adam Brawley. You can't even target Cheshcat. You can even target the Rookegg or the Guinevere, and obviously targeting the Guinevere, it will be the better play due to the fact that it will accumulate in the long run when it comes to draw power. Looks like he does target it and sacrifice the Rookegg. So he sacrificed the Rookegg to search instead, and then draw 2 cards and discarding 1 at the same time, losing that Guinevere. However, he did search for another Guinevere. You know what? You can get rid of my first Guinevere. I can just search for my second one out with the Rookegg in play. So let's see what can Henry do with that situation. Now Daniel has to deal with the second Guinevere, which like you allow him to draw more cards and so on. He comes to draw 2 and discarding 1. Discarding a Death Side, which is a not a real neg one for him, because you know what? I can remove 3 cards from my graveyard and add back that Death Side to my hand for more discard fodder for Guinevere, or discard fodder for whatever discard fodder I need it for. So let's see. This game has been very slow, like slow at all. Not slow. It has been very slow due to the fact that double robe, triple robe, should I say, and double bow on the field can be very hectic, slowing the whole game down to the point that, you know what, this could be a very long game. Let's see what can Daniel do in this situation. He does have 3 Magic Stone to play with. He could be dropping some like offensive card or defensive card depending on the situation. Maybe he has more Cheshcat in hand, perhaps not. But I do see a Guinevere in his hand, so he is going to drop the Guinevere, which allows him to get more draw power later on to search for his aggressive card or finishes. Life points still remain the same, 3,800 compared to 3,800 life point. Not much has changed at the moment. Henry's hand does have a Cthulhu Living Flame, Fatal Movement, and I think on Lancelot as well. So let's see what can he do. Thinking about his big play at the moment, perhaps. Lancelot, Guinevere, Lancelot, Cheshire Cat, Adam Brawley, and River Fire Rat still on the field compared to Guinevere, Adam Brawley, 2 bursts and 2 River Fire Rats. So both players are playing very defensively. Well, especially Daniel, he's playing very defensively with those River Fire Rat and those bows in play. In comes hardcasting the Resonator instead of the Incarnating. Now usually I never see you hardcasting a Cthulhu. I can't remember the top of my lane. I think Hansing or something. I can't remember the top of my head, and I'm pretty sure I just butchered that name pretty badly, whatever it's called. Sorry about that, guys. He did actually hardcast it instead of incarnating, which is interesting because usually for this type of any Cthulhu with incarnation, usually you incarnate instead of paying full cost, but there are situations that could force you to hardcast it, but I'm very surprised that he's hardcasting at the moment. Perhaps he doesn't want to sacrifice any of his cards at the moment, or he doesn't have enough resource to sacrifice. but he did get rid of Guinevere. But in response, Daniel did draw 2 new cards and discard 1. He did discard the Necromancy, which is what he needs in the graveyard, because any End Resonate he comes to play, he can attach it from the graveyard under it. So let's see. Looks like he's passing his turn at the moment. Looks like it's back to Henry's turn now. Not Henry's turn, back to Daniel's turn. But Daniel's thinking to do something, maybe perhaps the end phase or before the draw step. Let's see. Thinking about his play. Oh, actually, it's still Henry's turn. My bad, guys. My bad. I thought it was Daniel's turn now. Attacking directly with Adam Brawley, and the bows can do 800 damage, so it won't be enough. And then using one bow to get rid of it, getting rid of one of Adam Brawley and sacrifice his own Adam Brawley at the same time. Due to the fact that, you know what, I have two Rebel Fire that can stop your Red Resonate, but I can't stop your Adam Brawley. I will trade my Adam Brawley for your Adam Brawley and a counter for my bow. So let's see, back to Henry's turn now. Looks like it's back to Henry's turn. Yep, strong phase. Let's see what he drew into. I can't see, it looks like another Necromancy in hand by looks of it. Paying 2. Activating Dream of Juliet, destroying that Rebel Fire Red. It does cost him 200 life point to produce 1 white from the Moonshade, but however, that 200 life point is enough for me. You know what? I can't let you playing very defensive forever. I'm gonna get rid of your only defensive card in play, and now go for my power play later. So, which is really surprising, because with that 1 Moonshade in the deck, most people only play 1 Moonshade in the entire deck. So I would be surprised if he plays 2 or more in the deck, but however, with that Dream of Juliet destroying that Rebel Fire Red, making the only defensive card for Henry to have is gone. He does have Cheshire for blocking, but however, Rebel Fire Red is better than Cheshire, because Rebel Fire Red is a long-term strategy. The defensive card, while Cheshire is only temporarily while it's on the field. If your opponent somehow get rid of the Cheshire, there goes your defensive play. We're already almost at the 20-minute mark now, so in comes the Lancelot, in comes the Necromancy at the same time, giving that Lancelot +8/+8, not +8/+8, +2/+2, my bad guys, my bad. So let's see now. He's thinking about play, has no bone in hand, so more defensive play, so means which allow him to, like, I can kill all your field if I really want to. Using effect to pump up the Lancelot, attacking directly, get rid of one of the, I believe Lancelot, or we're getting rid of the Guinevere. It looks like getting rid of the Guinevere, but however, Henry's responding with Death Size effect by removing 3 cards from his graveyard, add it back to hand, sacrificing the Guinevere, which will allow him to draw 2 new cards and discarding 1. But most likely he will discard the Death Sight, because he doesn't need, or he can discard the Necromancy he just drew from Guinevere's effect. I'm pretty sure he will discard the Necromancy, because Necromancy is a bit more important in the graveyard than Death Sight. Yep, discarding Necromancy, so attacking directly for 1000 point. It depends if his opponent wants to block. If he does block, the bows will come into play and shoot your cards off the field, and then you have nothing else. Well, except for Cheshire Cat. Cheshire Cat can easily defend that. He does take the 1000 point damage, which does put him down to 2800 damage on the board, compared to Daniel's 3600 life point. Now the damage has been dealt now after, like, what, almost 20 minutes, or actually 18 minutes and 30 or 40 seconds now. Some damage has been dealt. It has been a very long game with 3 defensive cards in play. Dropping another bow with 3 bows on the field, with 2 of them with 2 counters and 1 with 1 counter. A lot of defensive play, and not only that, 2 Rebel Fire Reds stopping Henry from doing any aggressive play at all. And with 2 Magic Stone open for Daniel, he could be using another Dream of Juliet or something like that on the line, or another defensive card to prevent Henry doing anything at all. Let's see what can Henry do in this situation. He does have 5 Magic Stone open, so he can use a lot of power play and so on. But however, with Refrain, or is it Refrain or Reflect? It's one of those 2 names. With the J rule on the side of the field, he can't recklessly use any normal spell, because the fact that, you know what, I have Refrain on the field as my J ruler, I can cancel it really easily without worrying too much. Incarnating the Kukulu and the Cheshire Cat, so which will activate 3 abilities from Adam Brawley, which is draw, draining 400 life from your opponent, and burning 400 damage directly to a Resonator. So I'm pretty sure he can burn the Lancelot, draw a card, and drain your opponent's life by 400. So let's see now. Yep, does draining, which does put him down to 3,200 life points compared to Henry's 2,800. To make matters worse, he does have Necromancy, which will be attached under the Adam Brawley, which will allow him to, like, you know what, my Adam Brawley is somewhat big, 812, which will defend majority of your attacks and so on. Or is it 1012? No, it's 810, my bad guys, my math is way off today. But he still have 5 Magic Stone open, so he can actually drop a bit more cards on the field for defensive or offensive play. But however, unless Henry plays a Dream of Juliet of himself to get rid of those Robo the Fire Rat, there's no way he can push for many damage at the moment. However, Daniel did have the has the way to get rid of Robo Fire Rat if he wants to, which is Dream of Juliet. So I won't be surprised if I do see a second Dream of Juliet in his deck for the sideboard, dropping a Lancelot on the field, which will allow him for the offensive play later on if he really wants to. Paying 1, putting Necromancy under the Lancelot, which is putting us an 8/8 body on the field, and so on. So pretty much not much can be done. He needs that 1,000 point increase and so on, but however, it doesn't really matter because with 2 Robo Fire Rat on the field, Henry can't even do any damage on board. So let's see, what can he even do? He does have 2 Magic Stone open, but I'm not quite sure what kind of 2-drop he can play, or 1-drops. He maybe can drop a Guinevere and a Rook Egg, or even a Cheshire Cat again for more draw powers. Paying 200 life point from the Moonshade, which does put him down to 2,600 life point. Putting a 2-drop on the field, putting another Lancelot on the field, so 3 Lancelot in play. But however, with so many defensive cards on Daniel's side, there's no way he will able to get rid of able to do any damage at the moment. But he does J activate, which putting 6 counters on under Reflect Refrain now. So let's see. Thinking about his play at the moment, I believe he just passed his turn. So let's see. Well, it hasn't passed his turn yet. He could go for the offensive play if he really wants to. We're already almost at the 23-minute mark now, so 23-minute mark, so making a very, very long game. This might be one of the longest games I've ever cast in my entire life. I could be wrong, but should be one of the longest ones as well. So let's see. 3 Lancelot, 1 Adam Brawley with a Necromancy under it, compared to 2 Robo Fire Rat, 3 Bows, 1 Necromancy with a well, not Necromancy, 1 Lancelot with Necromancy and a Reflect Refrain on the battlefield. So Daniel does have the choice to DJ activate. I'm not sure if that's a word or not, but he can DJ activate if he wants to, putting back to the ruler side, which will allow him to filter, pumping, or recover. But again, if he does DJ activate, he can't actually bounce anything back, cancel any normal spell, or tutor for anything, unless he wants to tutor at the end phase. So let's see what can Daniel do in this situation. He's thinking about it. He might be like, I might want to DJ activate or not, but it depends on the situation. So let's see. 2 or 3 cards in hand for Daniel, compared to Henry's like 4 or 5 cards, maybe 6 cards in hand. Can't see from this angle because it is in the pile instead of like separated and so on. So let's see what can he do. Looks like he's about to DJ activate, or maybe removing 4 counter to tutor for card. Nope, he actually just DJ activate, putting back self in the ruler form. And Henry does have 4 cards in hand because he just spread it around. Putting back to the ruler form, which allows him to filter once more, or pumping or recover again. So let's see. Robo Fire Rat targeting one of the Lancelot, obviously targeting the Lancelot with the Necromancy, and then targeting another Lancelot on the battlefield. So let's see, recover phase and so on. So let's see. Looks like he's pumping up to Lancelot to 1000 attack and 1000 defense, so which can kill one of the Lancelot. I'm pretty sure he will target the Lancelot that has not been targeted by the Robo Fire Rat, so which can do a clear damage on the board. Looks like he is bouncing the Resonator back to his hand with Reflect Refrain, so forcing him to play again and so on. Dropping again, in comes the Necromancy, same same thing, paying 200 life point, dropping another Necromancy under the Lancelot, still hit the requirement 1010, swing directly for 1000 and burning 700 to a Lancelot. The one has not been targeted by the Rebel Fire Rat. Now even Henry does defend 3 bows on the field, can one-shot anything on the field and still take the 1000 point damage. He can choose to sacrifice cards and force his opponent to lose counters, or take the damage like a man. So let's see, he's thinking about it. He can block with Adam Broly or any other cards he wants, but however, 2 Rebel Fire Rat is still in effect against 2 Lancelot, so even he does block, the Lancelot will do 0 damage to towards the attacking Lancelot that Daniel was attacking. He does take the damage, which does put him down to 1600 life point compared to 3000 life point. So let's see what can Henry do in this situation. He does J activate. Daniel. Daniel does have I think 6 counters now on his J roller. So pretty much he can shoot up, bounce, or he can do anything pretty much with 6 counters under it. But the problem is for that Henry is that it's those bows and the Robo Fire Rat, because I'm pretty sure, I'm not sure actually, I'm not quite sure if he packs any addition removal. If he didn't do it, so meaning that those Robo Fire Rat will be causing him a lot of trouble because he can't do any offensive play, and those bows on the field are the same thing. I hope he has maybe a Hera in the deck somewhere to get rid of those bows, but however, even he does have Hera, he needs to top deck into at least 2 Heras to pop 2 Regalias off the field. So let's see what can Henry do in this situation. Henry does have 5 Magic Stone to play with, and he's back to his ruler side, so he can filter again or using pumping ability and so on. But however, I don't think pumping the Lancelot will help at all. I think he should pump the perhaps the Adam Broly, because he hit a bit hard and so on. Using effect to pump up the Adam Broly. So now with 14 defense, you can easily get passed by those bows attacking to the Lancelot. So let's see, will Daniel use the one of the bows to get rid of the Adam Broly, because it will be an even trade-off. Well, not really even trade-off, but almost even trade-off. But he has to sacrifice 2 counters. Bouncing it back to his hand, so pretty much no more damage has been dealt, but however with 2 Necromancy in the graveyard, which allows him to put more cards on the field to do more offensive play if he had a lot of swiftness card in his hand. But I did saw he had 2 Kukula Living Flame, so he can push for aggressive play if he really wants to, but again, with 3 bows and 2 Rebel Fire Rat in recover position, it will slow down Henry pretty badly. And his life point is not looking too good at the same time, because with 1600 life point is not enough against a Lancelot that can be potentially, perhaps, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 pumping ability as well, with 14 damage on board. In comes Kukula Living Flame, triggering the Rook Egg, which allows him to search for any red resonance he needs from his deck without his hand. In this current situation, he will be adding the Rook Egg. Adding the Rook Egg for a draw, for more, to gain the flow steal, so pretty much keep floating and deck finning. I thought he might search for another Kukula Living Flames to get the extra push in. Even though Daniel does have a lot of defensive card, he might want to force him to use the defensive card, because he still have Lancelot in play and so on. And he's not triggering the Necromancy at all. Incarnating the Kukula Living Flames and the Rook Egg, which allows him to search for again. And in comes the double Necromancy in play, which will put the Adam Broly back up to 12 defense and I believe 1000 attack. Searching for another Lancelot, entering his hand and doing 400 damage directly to the Lancelot. So let's see what can he do. I don't think he can do much at the moment, because Lancelot is good, but however with 2 Rebel Fire Rat negating Lancelot's ability, cancelling out Lancelot's ability won't be that helpful for him at the moment. Currently, life point wise, 1600 compared to 3000 life point. Not much has changed at the moment, because at the moment, with so much defensive card, Henry can't actually push a lot of damage. To make matters worse, should I say, he is on the low end of life points. He's gonna activate, and with 4 counters on top of it, can tutor for any cards they need. Maybe tutor into a maybe a Flame of Outer Worlds, something like that on the line. I'm not quite sure on top of my head. Looks like he's going passing back to Daniel's turn. Now Daniel can DJ activate if he wants to. By DJ activating, he can pump, he can recover, or even filter as well. But however, by DJ activating, he is losing the chance to cancel a spell or bouncing any cards back and so on. So let's see how it goes. He is going to DJ activate, putting back on the rule side, so which allows him to get more countered and so on. Because you know what, I'm pretty sure he can say, you know what, I have 4 counters, not 4 counters, I have a lot of counters on my bow, so I can go for a lot of push and damage in play, because none of your Resonate will survive this. Attacking using Thunder right away, burning Henry down to 500 life point to 1100 life left. So draining his opponent's life, so he gonna be doing the big push, because a single pump from the Lancelot will be lethal from here. Attacking directly, burning one of the Lancelot, losing more field advantage and so on. So Henry's like, that Lancelot is getting a bit annoying. But in comes the block from the Adam Raleigh, attacking directly for 1000. So let's see, in comes the bow, 400, then 800, then 12, just enough to get rid of the Adam Raleigh. But however, in response, paying 4 counter to search his deck for a spell, perhaps a removal spell. No, it's Crimson Kaguya cancelling out the bow, so not allowing to resolve one of the counters. So instead of doing 12, he's doing 8 instead. So doing a trade-off with the Adam Brawley. But however, it will allow Henry to draw 1 card, and which allows him to get the extra defensive need. Rebel Fire Red, I think that we saw. However, it does put Henry tapped out, so pretty much the Magic Stone tapped out, Ruler tapped out. So let's see, can he handle this situation. Pumpkin Witch in play. Oh, this could be painful. Does he have another Lancelot in hand? Yep, he does have another Lancelot with a total damage of 1300 damage. That's enough to take out the game. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. See you guys next time. Peace.